basically that unity equals, wait for it, unity. And if you're anything like me and you consider it, well, pretty useless to include the word you don't understand in the definition for that word, you probably don't consider this particular definition very helpful at all. So for the sake of clarity, I would like to offer my own. Unity, as defined by me.com, is, quote, people getting along, end quote. That's right, people. Like you and me and the guy you made awkward eye contact with at the stoplight. We're all people. And here's the crazy part. There's about 7.5 billion of us. And it's a good thing you're all sitting down because it gets even crazier. Every single one of those 7.5 billion people is different. No, not just different in a you and your mother-in-law kind of way. Each person is unique and special. Aww. And to say people are all around us is an understatement. And it can be really hard to maintain peace between all those unique people we just don't see eye to eye with. And that's exactly why the whole idea of unity is so important. Not just with others, but with ourselves. So today I want to explore what unites us, what sets us apart, and what we can do to make the most of it all in a full-on discovery of unity. And I'll be doing so through 3 main points, but since I'm a fan of surprises, let's just jump right into my first one. What's wrong with the world? Now, before you answer that question with, everything, let's take a look at what specific problems plague our world. On one hand, you have those who consider guns every American's right, and on the other, those who think we'd be safer without them. You have your Democrats and your Republicans, and those who say milk, and those who say milk. So many contradictions, right? Everywhere you go, there's someone who thinks differently than you, believes in something you don't, and honestly, a whole lot of anger. In fact, if you want a front row seat to the polarization in today's world, try turning on the TV and watching both Fox News and CNN cover the exact same story. Constantly, people are worrying about immigration, global warming, and yes, even pineapple on pizza. But why is there so much disunity? As life coach Colin Beavan puts it, quote, sometimes when people hurt us or have different views than us, we think we have to stop or change them before they can hurt us more, end quote. See, when we counter attacks against our own opinions by devaluing somebody else's, we become the problem. But let's be honest, we don't like to think that we're the problem, so I'll soften the blow for all of us. We're only one out of 7.5 billion problems. But why so many? Well, the answer, and also my next point, is simple. We are all different. Now, you've already heard me talk about how everybody's unique, and I'm not quite done yet. You may have heard of the Myers-Briggs personality test. It's created by a mother-daughter psychologist duo, and it's been used for decades to categorize human personality and inclination. There are 8 key traits that make up personality according to Myers-Briggs. For example, how you gain your energy from internal alone time or external time spent with others explains that you're either introverted or extroverted. If you gain information from what you experience, you're sensing, or what you conclude in your own head, you're intuitive. If you make decisions with hard logic, you're thinking, or with emotion, you're feeling. And finally, if you're adaptive and spontaneous, or if you like things just so and always stick to your plans, you're either perceiving or judging. But I'm willing to bet that all of you are judging. Now, I know that's a lot to take in, and you probably retain none of that, but it gets even crazier. Rather than saying that each person simply exhibits just 4 of these traits, the test explains that they're more like dimmer switches, where you're either falling to the extreme high, the extreme low, or most likely somewhere close to the middle of the opposing traits. For instance, I'm an INFP. That means I'm introverted, intuitive, feeling, and perceiving. But since we're all friends here, you can just call me an emotional basket case. And although I'm introverted, I'm also 47% extroverted. So while that means I often enjoy a good puzzle more than people, I'm not quite about to go build myself a cabin in the middle of the Canadian wilderness. But why exactly does knowing this personality test help you? Well, because it shows just how different people are. And how is this supposed to help you get along with the scary guy at the DMV or watch a political protest without yelling, "Do these hippies even have jobs?" at the TV? Which conveniently brings me to my final point. Puzzles, turkey, and world peace. Not to brag or anything, but I'm pretty good at puzzles. While the other kids were out there making friends and learning basic social skills, I was busy collecting puzzles by any means I could. And I remember one in particular that was my absolute favorite. It was the Earth, but instead of being flat, when you put it together, it was actually shaped like a globe. Now, I'm gonna really need all of you to try to picture this puzzle because I'm about to use it in this super crazy analogy I'm sure you won't see coming. Our Earth is just like that puzzle. One world made up of individual pieces, each one a person. Some pretty groundbreaking stuff, I know, but please try to stay with me. This plays right into the idea of a unified people. Unity begins with seeing the beauty in the individual. It means recognizing that every single type has certain unique passions and talents. For instance, INFPs like me are often writers and philosophers like C.S. Lewis and literally every French guy ever. While INTJs like my brother are often leaders and scientists and not complete disappointments to their parents, like Elon Musk and John Adams. And while you may be convinced that your mother-in-law has the same personality as Kim Jong-un, you know what, maybe so. But that also means she shares a personality with Billy Graham, which is pretty cool. See, it's all about recognizing that every person has the potential to be someone amazing. Just as 1 Corinthians 12:6 says, "For there are many kinds of working, but in all of them and everyone, it is the same God at work." And sure, I could sit around all day jealous that being a political mastermind isn't my strong suit. Or I could embrace how God made me and live in appreciation of how he made others, recognizing that every single person brings something new to the table. Like that one aunt who always brings Jell-O to Thanksgiving when no one else does. And it's so much better that way. I mean, who wants a Thanksgiving dinner of just turkey? Don't get me wrong, turkey tastes great, but it's even better with cranberry sauce and stuffing, and no, I don't mean we need to just ignore the issues in others. I mean, we need to be willing to look beyond the dryness of the turkey or political opinions of the green bean casserole and appreciate the good things about them. I mean, let's be real, we all have flaws. I'm often stubborn, selfish, and really bad at talking to boys, but I'm also the person that God made me to be. And you are all exactly who God created you to be, because you're made in the very same image as 7.5 billion other people. And that image is God's image. Now, I'm not advocating for world peace, I wish I could, but as renowned singer and actress Hannah Montana tells us in her historic song, Nobody's Perfect, quote, "Everybody makes mistakes," unquote. But despite this truth, I believe humanity could do a much better job of being unified by genuinely daring to see others how Christ sees them and treat others how Christ would treat them. It would start in our homes and how we interact with our children, our siblings, and our parents. It would start in our family reunions, our political opinions, and our online interactions on Donald Trump's Twitter account. Because unity doesn't come through the absence of individuality, it comes through broken people working together despite their differences. Colossians 3:14 says, "And above all these, put on love, which binds everything together in perfect harmony." By caring about others' opinions instead of just trying to get our own across, and by loving others the way that Christ loves us, I am confident we could see a community and a nation united. But we have to know it's not going to be easy, and it has to begin with recognizing the importance of every single piece, and a picture that's a lot bigger than just one person. And you don't have to love puzzles as much as I do to want to put this one together.